Hi, I'm Louise and I'm part of the Colchester Movement and Worship base. So I became a Christian about 5 years ago. As a child, I did a lot of dancing, but I stopped dancing when I was about 18 because I knew that I wasn't going to become a professional dancer, so I didn't really see the point in continuing. And it wasn't until 5 years ago when I started to develop a relationship with God that He started to speak to me about dancing again. And it was a real surprise to me because it was something that I hadn't done for so long. But I felt at the time like it was God saying, look, I know this about you. I know this innermost part of you, this really personal part of you that I created, and I want you to be exploring it again. So people started having these pictures and these prophecies for me to do with dance. And the most amazing one, the one that stuck with me the most, was a picture of me in the middle of a big hall, an empty hall, and there's an empty chair at the front of the hall. And I'm dancing and I keep on looking up at this chair and expecting there to be someone there. And there isn't. And eventually I turn around and Jesus is behind me. And He takes my hand and He says, look, it's not a performance. I don't want you to be dancing for me. I want to dance with you. And He dances with me. And that meant a huge amount to me at the time, but actually as I have discovered more about God and about my journey in worship, that picture has just meant more and more, and there are more and more layers to it as you explore it even more. So believe it or not, even though I had all these pictures about movement, I didn't actually start dancing in worship straight away. I joined a church and I wanted to fit in. I wanted to look like everyone else, and everyone else was singing. So although I'm not a singer, I just sung to join in, to look the same. And it wasn't until this amazing woman stood up in front of me one day in worship and started dancing, and I was taken aback, and I came up to her at the end afterwards and I said, are we allowed to do this? This is amazing. So me and her went on a bit of a journey discovering what dancing in worship actually looks like, and we found Movement in Worship, the organisation. We went to a couple of workshops and we started to discover that there are other people that do this. We learned the biblical basis of it. We started to learn how to use our bodies in this way. And the thing about Movement in Worship that has taught me the most is this principle that they have, that everyone has a unique body, and that body is valid and is able to be used as a form of worshipping God. And now it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what size you are, it doesn't matter what nationality you are, it doesn't matter what kind of ability you have. But what Movement in Worship teaches, and what I think is so important to hold on to during worship, is that as long as you're doing it in spirit and in truth, and as long as your heart is in a place of worship, then God is pleased by it and He wants to see it and He wants to receive it. So that's what Movement in Worship has taught me. And maybe there's something that it can teach you as well about your worship. Maybe there's a way that you can connect in with it as well.